There we are. Good afternoon, everyone. It's time for a game of Strat-O-Matic baseball, 1966 replay. We're moving on to Tuesday, May the 17th on the schedule today. And we're going to start off with the Boston Red Sox at the Baltimore Orioles. And I can see already, hang on a second here. See, I'm rusty. I haven't rolled a game since Friday. This is the 17th. First of a 3-game series. We've got righty Jerry Stevenson on the mound for the Red Sox. Lefty Frank Bertena will get the start for the Orioles. And hello to Kenyon and to Ben. How about that? Good to see you, Ben. I actually thought my early start time might not be convenient for you, so I'm glad to see you could make it. Getting him in when I can this week. That'll be true of the entire week. Can't guarantee a game every day, but if I have time and feel like rolling, I'll get it in. Well, good for you. Enjoy that, Ben. Always loved that paid time off. Stevenson, a rather poor card. 5.83 ERA that year. In our replay, he is 1-3 with a 5.06 ERA. This will be his 7th start. He has 1 complete game, 27 innings of work. Bertena has been in 3 games, 2 relief appearances, 1 start. He's 1-1 with a save and a very high 13.5 ERA. He was hit hard at his 4 2/3 innings of work. And on advice from, or suggestion I should say, not advice, suggestion would be a better word, from Bob Cole. I've put in some little facts about 2 players on each team in the margin. So I don't know if you can even read those. I'm just trying it out today. And we had my cousin's here, of course, for another week. He was here for 2 weeks total. His dad and his wife and her youngest of 3 spent the weekend with us, and we got lucky. We had like low to mid 80s high Saturday and Sunday. Had a marvelous time. I hope everyone had a great weekend. We're heating up again in Spokane, however, today. 85, currently headed for a high of 97. So in other words, they could not have picked 2 better days to be here. We got lucky on that one. Starting an hour early today as I have some plans this afternoon. So let's get you the Red Sox lineup. We'll get this game underway. For Boston, Rico Petrocelli will lead it off at short. Joe Foy at third base hits second. Yaz, of course, in the 3 spot in left. George Scott, the cleanup man, at first. Tony Conigliaro in right field. George Thomas in center today, hitting 6th. Mike Ryan will do the catching. George Smith back in the lineup at second base. He'll bat 8th. Stevenson, the pitcher, bats 9th. Defensively for the Orioles, Andy Etchebarren behind the plate. Boog Powell at first. Johnson and Aparicio up the middle. Brooks Robinson at third base. In the outfield, left to right of Bluffery, Snyder, and Frank Robinson. And yeah, I'll go over those briefly. Leads runs 19. That's pretty self-explanatory. He leads the team in runs, his team in runs scored with 19. Conigliaro 16 extra base hits. Frank Robinson 19 extra base hits, and Aparicio has all 3 of his team's stolen bases. Orioles do not run much. And I'm glad you can read them. I've seen stranger things, Kenyon. Absolutely. Okay, Bertaina's ready to go. Petrocelli steps in to lead things off. He comes into the game with a .279 average, 3 homers, 13 RBIs. The left-hander into the windup now. And here's the pitch to Rico. That's a 4-8 right-handed, and he walks him. A leadoff walk to Petrocelli, and we are underway. Petrocelli not a threat to steal. Even with Bertaina's poor hold, he's got about as much chance of being picked off as he does achieving a good lead. So here's Foy now. He leads the club in batting at .321. 6 home runs, a dozen RBIs for the right-handed hitting third baseman. Bertaina now out of the stretch. Here's the pitch. It's a 3-3 lefty. Grounder back to the pitcher. Bertaina snags it, whirls, fires to Johnson for 1, and that'll be it. It's going to be a force play, 1-4. And Foy's at first with 1 away. And here comes Yaz. Carl Yastrzemski hitting .252 on the season. 4 home runs, 17 RBIs. Foy takes his lead. Out of the stretch is Bertaina. Here's the pitch. That's going to be a 4-3 left-handed. It's a base hit into center field. Open single. Foy could take third on that. He's a 1-11, however. Schneider with a +2 arm would make him a 13 with 1 out. He's going to go for it. We're sending him. Here's the throw into third base. He's in there. And Yastrzemski moves up on the throw. Actually, I should have cut that off. That's what we're going to do. No, I can't take it back. I already rolled for him to go. Yastrzemski. They could cut it off and throw for Yastrzemski, though. That's still an option. 14 minus 5 to go to second, 9 plus 2, 11. They're going to cut it off and throw for Yastrzemski. No, they can't do that either. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, you can't take it back. That's what I should have done. I need to be more cognizant of that. Exactly. I've already thrown to third. Yep, so he takes second on the throw. I need to be mindful of that, though. In the early innings, Baltimore really should have cut that off and kept Yastrzemski to first, keeping the double play in order. What's done is done. Let's see if the infield's in or back. 1-3 is going to be in. It will be back. And here's Scott. George Scott, batting .243, leads the club in home runs with 7, second on the team in RBIs with 18. Bertaina ready to work now. Here's the pitch. It's a 1-9 lefty to Scott. He struck him out. Big strikeout for Bertaina there. With runners at second and third and 1 down, he fans Scott. And here's Tony C. Tony leads the club in RBIs with 20. He's hitting .284 with 5 home runs. Thomas on deck. Too early, in my opinion, to even think about an intentional walk. They'll pitch to Tony C, and here's the pitch from Bertaina. That's going to be a 5-8 right-hander. It's a grounder to second base X. That'll be Davy Johnson. He's a 2E25 as he ranges behind the bag. And here's the play on a 16. He's got it, whirls and throws in time. So a nice play by Davy Johnson. Nice job by Bertaina to pitch his way out of the jam. Boston fails to score in the first. No runs a hit, and they leave runners at second and third. I'm actually fairly happy how that worked out, to be honest. I'd hate to have Boston score a run because of my managing ineptness. And as Stevenson gets ready to work, let's go over the Orioles lineup. Russ Snyder in center leads it off. Aparicio bats second at short. Frank Robinson, of course, in the 3 spot in right. Brooks down at third hitting cleanup. Kurt Blefary bats fifth in left. Boog Powell, the first baseman, hitting sixth. Davey Johnson at second base. Andy Etchebarren, the catcher, round out the lineup with Bertena, the pitcher, hitting ninth. For Boston, it'll be Ryan behind the plate. The infield, Scott, Smith, Petroselli, and Foy from first to third, with the outfield of Yastrzemski, Thomas, and Canigliaro. And greetings, Tony. Welcome. Once again, hope everyone had a fine weekend. Bottom of the first. No score. Here's Russ Snyder to lead things off. Schneider batting .308. That's 8 for 26. No home runs. Stevenson gets the sign from Ryan. 5-5 left-handed. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. So Stevenson picks up his first strikeout, and Aparicio will be the hitter. Aparicio off to a slow start this season, hitting just .209. No home runs, 8 RBIs. The right-hander gets the sign from Ryan. The windup and the pitch is a 4-7 right-handed, a single to 15 on a 14. That's just past the diving Foy and into left field for a base hit. Luis, a star 17 stealer. Checking the Boston battery now, we find Stevenson with a terrible +9 hold. Ryan a 0, of course the most it can be is a 5, so Aparicio would be a 20. Held on, he's an 18. And at 18 with Frank Robinson up, he's going to try for that lead. 2 through 5, 11, or 12. 9, he does not get the lead. On the back number, he would be 14. 13 plus 5 minus 4. One down, Robinson's going to hit away. Frank Robinson leading the club in most offensive categories. He's batting .330. He leads in runs scored with 26, homers with 10, RBIs with 28, extra base hits with 19. Stevenson checks the runner now from the stretch. Here's the pitch to Big Frank. 3-9 right-handed. He draws the walk. So Stevenson, pitching carefully to Frank Robinson, loses him. And the Orioles are in business here, first and second, one away. And here comes Brooks Robinson. Brooks batting .333 on the season. 3 homers, 18 RBIs. Infield at normal depth. Stevenson out of the stretch. Pitch to Brooks is a 2-12, and he hits him. Oh my goodness, and that's going to load the bases. So Brooks hit by the pitch. First time Brooks has been hit by a pitch this season. I know, Ben, I was wondering about Franklin myself. A well-known Orioles fan. I should say well-known as an Orioles fan would be more accurate. And with the bases loaded and one down, here's Kurt Blefary. Blefary leads the club in batting at .340. 6 home runs and his 21 RBIs, third on the ball club. No place to put him, infield at double play depth. Stevenson. Full windup, the pitch to Blefary is a 4-4 left-handed. That's going to be catcher's card X. That's going to be Mike Ryan. He's a good catcher. A 2-3. Here's the play. On a 7, it's a pop out to the catcher, and the runners will hold. Big play there for the Red Sox. That makes it 2 down, and it will be up to Boog Powell. Powell batting .326 on the season, 8 home runs, 19 RBIs. This Oriole lineup just loaded with good numbers. Stevenson checks the runners now into the windup. The pitch to the Boog is a 4-6 left-handed, and he walks him to force in a run. The bases loaded walk to Powell. Aparicio will score. Powell picks up an RBI. Frank Robinson down to third. Brooks to second. And it's 1-0 Orioles. He's a little better versus righties, yeah. Here's Davey Johnson, bases loaded, 2 down. Davey hitting .280 on the season, just 1 homer, 12 RBIs. Stevenson, deep breath, full windup. Here's the pitch to Davey. That's going to be a 3-3 right-handed. It's a little comebacker. Johnson snags it, throws home to Ryan for the force. How about that? A 1-2 force to end the inning. The Orioles get a run on a 1 hit. And after 1 inning of play, they lead at 1-0. The run scored largely on Stevenson's wildness, 2 walks and a hit batter in the inning. Exactly. And here's Bertana now as we get ready to move to the 2nd inning. Man, I had a lot of good wine this weekend. Oh, brother. George Thomas will start it off for Boston. Thomas batting .278, just 10 for 36. He's in his 16th game played. 2 home runs and 2 RBIs, so 2 solo homers for George Thomas, accounting for all of his ribbies. And here's Bertana now into the windup, and the pitch to Thomas is going to be a 4-7 right-handed, and he walks him. 2nd walk of the game issued by Bertana. So 4 walks already in this one, 2 on each side. And here's Mike Ryan now, the catcher. Ryan, a defense-first catcher, hitting just .159. No homers, 2 RBIs. From the stretch now, here's a 1-2 left-hander. That's going to be a grounder down to first base. Powell down to Aparicio for 1. Back to Powell, not in time. A 3-6 force. Thomas is erased. And Ryan's at first with 1 down. Here's George Smith now, the 2nd baseman, hitting .233, 2 homers, 9 RBIs. Bertana out of the stretch. Comes in there with a 3-7 lefty. It's a grounder to short. That's going to be 2. Aparicio to Johnson to Powell. Double play. Pitcher's best friend. That'll retire the side. No runs, no hits, no 1 left for Boston. After an inning and a half, 1-0 Orioles. Oh, I tell you, Ben, I had a Pinot, a couple of a Syrah Grenache, a couple of Syrahs, a Zinfandel. All of them but the last one from the cool climate South San Luis Obispo region. Okay, Stevenson's ready to work here. Andy Etchebarren will lead it off for the Orioles. Etchebarren hitting .333, 4 homers, 14 RBIs. Their number 8 hitters batting .333. 18-8 now. Baltimore trying to get back on track after being swept. No, they salvaged one. I take that back. They lost 3 out of 4 to Cleveland, if I remember correctly. So here's Echeverria now. Stevenson into the windup. That's going to be a 4-10 right-handed. Grounded down to third base X. That's Foy. Foy a 4 E25. Tough play for Joe as he ranges to his left. And on a 12, it will be the E rating. So that's going to be the roll of a 10 on an E25. And he makes a fine play to his feet and throws him out. How about that? 5-3X. Nice play, Foy. I'm afraid I'm not, Ben. I'm pretty much West Coast wines. California, Oregon, an occasional Washington. No knock on Washington. They make some good wines. Here's Bertaina, the pitcher. He's a left-handed batter, 1W. The pitch from Stevenson is going to be a 5-5 left-hander. Struck him out. There are some ciders, yeah. I'm not really a cider guy, but I'll bet they do. Let me, 2 down. It's Russ Snyder. I'm going to let Snyder bat. And then I'm going to take a quick break here to clean these glasses. Stevenson, the windup, the pitch to Snyder. That's going to be a 3-6 right-handed, a grounder wide of second. Smith has it, turns and fires to Scott, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Jerry Stevenson. So we've played 2. It's a 1-0 game. I'll be right back. Where is that thing? Okay, we're back. Oh yeah, that's better. I've been to Walla Walla quite a few times. We've played 2. It's 1-0 Baltimore. To the third we go. Here's Bertaina. Stevenson will lead it off. He's a left-handed hitter. 1W, and here's the pitch. Left on left. That's going to be a 4-7. Struck him out. Second strikeout for Bertaina. And here's Rico Petrocelli. Rico walked to start the game off. Bertaina into the windup now. Here's the pitch to Rico. It's a 6-8 right-handed, a grounder up the middle, cut off by Petrocelli. Sorry, cut off by Aparicio, who fires to first. Get in the game, Steve. 2 down, and here's Foy. Foy 0 for 1. Bertaina gets the sign from Echeverria, and now here's the pitch to Foy. That's going to be a 2-6 left-handed, and he works out the walk. 2-out walk to Foy. And that'll give Yastrzemski a shot here in the third. Yaz singled his first time up. Left on left, Bertana set from the stretch. The pitch to Yastrzemski is a 4-6 left-handed. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Strikeout number 3 for Bertana ends the inning for Boston. No runs, no hits, they leave 1. And it's goose eggs for 3 by Frank Bertana. And welcome to Jimmy Jam. Glad to have you here on a Monday. Glad to have you any day, actually, but today just happens to be a Monday. Okay, Stevenson takes the mound as we go to the bottom of the third. Aparicio, followed by the Robinsons here in the third. Aparicio singled in the first, Baltimore's only hit of the game so far. Stevenson gets the sign from Ryan. It's a 2-8 right-handed. That's going to be a high fly ball to deep left field. Backing up is Yastrzemski at the track, at the wall. It's gone. Oh my goodness, how about that? Aparicio, with his first home run of the season, makes it 2-0. Let's take another look at it. Oh yeah, he's a weak against righties, but 2-8, 1-8. The roll is a 2. And it's a leadoff home run for Aparicio. Now I've got to look at the card. Well, he hit 6. Played full time, 659 at bats. Anyway, that's his first. 2-0 Orioles, and Frank Robinson steps to the plate. Robinson walked in the first. Stevenson gets the sign from Ryan. Here is the pitch to Frank Robinson. It's a 3-10 right-handed, and he draws the walk. Third walk issued by Stevenson. And now it's an interesting situation. Frank Robinson, not a star stealer, but with a +9 hold of Stevenson, Ryan's a 0. He'd be at 18 if he could get the lead, so Boston's going to have to hold him on, making him a 16. And you don't see me holding non-star stealers too often. What's more, he's going to try for it. 5 or 6 to get a 16. 10, he does not establish the lead. And here's the next pitch to Brooks. On a 3-5 right-handed, he draws a walk. Back-to-back walks after the home run. Stevenson could be a little rattled out there. I'm not wanting this game to get out of hand. Looks like Boston has someone up in the pen already. Give me just a second here. I want to check some of the usage on these guys. Normally I do this before the game, so my apologies. That's kind of what I thought. Okay, Bucky Brandon has been well underused so far. And it's going to be Bucky Brandon throwing in the pen, a right-handed pitcher. Kurt Blefary, the batter. Blefary 0 for 1 today. First and second, nobody out. Stevenson gets the sign from Ryan. Now from the stretch, here's the pitch to Blefary. It's a 4-10 left-handed. It's a grounder to third base X. That's going to be Foy again. 4E25. Could be 2. Here's the roll on the play on a 17. It's going to be a force play. It's Foy down to Smith for 1, to Scott not in time. So a 5-4 force will put runners on the corners with 1 down. And here's Boog Powell. Powell walked his first time up with the bases loaded. Drove in the first run for the Orioles. Aparicio homered at the top of this inning for the second run, and that's where we're at. 2-0 Baltimore. Stevenson, a glance over at first. Now from the stretch, the pitch to Boog. That's a 2-11 right-handed. That's a grounder. Little roller to shortstop. Petrocelli has it. Shovels to Smith the short way for the force. And that will retire the side. The Orioles do get a run, however, on Luis Aparicio's first home run of the season, and after 3 innings complete, it's 2-0 Orioles. Enjoying my coffee. Okay, we're going to move along to the 4th inning here. Scott, Canigliaro, and Thomas due up for Boston. George Scott stands in from the right side. He struck out his first time against Pertena. Now the left-hander winds and deals. That's going to be a 1-7 left-handed. It's a slow roller to third. Brooks Robinson charges on the run, throws him out. Boy, he makes it look easy, doesn't he? Whoop, 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 whoop. 2-2. Yes, sir. Back it up. Thank you, Mike. Let's back that up. So that was a, oh, good grief. Okay, I gotta look at the, Powell play again. Bear with me, it's a replay. Yeah, that probably scored a run with the infield back. Okay, let's see here. That was a 2-11 Powell. Shortstop B. We had on the force, he took third, first and third. Ground ball B. It is a force play and a run will score. So thank you very much, Mike and Ben. Force at second plates Frank Robinson. That's an RBI for Boog. My apologies, and thanks for the assist, gentlemen. 3-0 Orioles. Davey Johnson will bat in this inning. Runner at first, 2 down. The pitch from Stevenson. That's going to be a 5-10 right-hander. It's a little slow roller to short. Aparicio charging on the run. Throws him out. And that'll end the inning. That's Petrocelli. I beg your pardon, not Aparicio. I already flipped the... All right, so 2 runs for Baltimore. On the 1 hit. And after 3 complete, it is 3-0 Orioles. Now here's Pertena facing Scott. Scott again struck out his first time against Bertana. Here's the windup and here's the pitch. That's going to be a 4-12 right-handed. It's a little slow roller to third. Brooks Robinson charging it and throws him out. Isn't that what happened the first time I rolled for Scott? Here's Tony C now, one away. Canigliaro, team leader with 20 RBIs. Bertana set. Here's the windup and the pitch. That's going to be a 4-9 right-handed. Fly ball into straightaway center. Snyder backing up a bit, and he'll haul that one in for 2 outs. Two down quickly, and here's George Thomas. Thomas walked his first time up. The left-hander into the windup. Here's the pitch to Thomas. That's a 6-9 right-handed. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. A 1-2-3 inning for Frank Bertana, who's put up 4 goose eggs so far. We'll move to the bottom of the 4th, 3-0 Baltimore. And a shout out to Gerald and to Frank. Once again, oh, Mookie is great. Gerald, thank you. He already had a short walk and a short car ride this morning just to keep him in practice. Got out a little earlier. It's already too hot for him now. 3-0 Orioles, bottom of the 4th. Here's Echeverrin to start it off. He's 0 for 1 today. Stevenson gets the sign from Ryan. Here's the windup and the pitch. It's a 5-10 right-handed. It's a ground ball into the hole. It's short. Petrocelli there. Plants and throws in time. 1 down, and here's Bertana. Left-handed hitter. Stevenson's pitch, a 3-10 grounder down to third base. That's Foy. And there's 2 down quickly in the 4th. Oh, Frank, I sent you an email. I found an explanation for that by Googling it. Check your email. Let me know. That is something to do with playing different. There you go. Ben's got it. God, you're good, Ben. Yes, in the old sets, there were no ground ball A's on the pitcher's cards. And there were no C's on the batter's card. 2 down, nobody on. Here's Snyder. He's 0 for 2 today. Stevenson into the windup. Comes in with a 1-11 right-handed. It's a little 2-hopper to third. Foy to Scott. And Jerry Stevenson settles down with a nice 1-2-3 inning in the 4th. So we're through 4. It's 3-0 Orioles. Yeah, and Frank and Ben, and that's probably why I've never noticed it. I'm not sure. I can't remember ever playing across eras, except, of course, on the 365 online game. And in that game, you're not actually playing the games anyway. You're just setting your lineups, rotation, and preferences, and Strat-O-Matic sims the games 3 games per day. Red Sox coming to bat in the 5th. So far, Frank Bertana has shut them down. He is an S5 for endurance, just like Stevenson. So this will be his first inning of potential fatigue. He'll be facing Ryan, Smith, and the pitcher. Ryan 0 for 1. Bertana gets the sign from Echeverry. 6-8 right-handed. That's a ground ball up the middle, cut off by Aparicio, who fires to Powell in time. Aparicio, shading Ryan towards the middle, was able to make that a fairly routine play. And here's George Smith now. Smith 0 for 1. Bertana into the windup. That's going to be a 1-6 left-hander, a double to 2, but on a 14, that's going to hang up in left. Fairly easy play for Bluffery for the second out. Two down, nobody on, and here's Stevenson. And the first real dilemma of the game. A little early to pinch hit. On the other hand, they trail by 3. And he's only a 5-inning pitcher to begin with. On the other side of the coin, there's already 2 outs. Let's take a look at their bench. Bench a little thin against lefties, too. I'm going to go ahead and let him bat. I might regret this, but Stevenson's going to hit, left-handed hitter. 4-7, struck him out. 1-2-3 inning for Bertana, who's now retired the last 8 in a row. Yeah, I did not feel comfortable with that call, Mike, I have to admit. The one problem is they really only have one good right-handed hitter on the bench. They've got a lot of lefties. And that right-handed hitter is Bob Tillman, who's their other catcher. It'll be a short leash for Stevenson, however, as we go to the bottom of the 5th. And the red-hot Luis Aparicio will lead it off. A single and a home run today. Stevenson into the windup now. Here's the pitch on a 6-5 right-handed. That's a grounder to short X. That's going to be Petrocelli. Tough play for Rico into the hole at a 2E38. Here it is on an 8. That's the dreaded 5. That's trouble on an E38, and he boots it. Error Petrocelli. And Aparicio reaches. Aparicio an 18 held. And he's going to try for that lead. 2 through 5, 11 or 12. 6, he does not get the lead. And here's Frank Robinson. Robinson's walked both times today against Stevenson. From the stretch, the pitch to Big Frank is going to be a 5-12 right-handed. It's a grounder to second base X. That could be 2. Smith a 2E28, and here's the play. On a 16, it sure is. Smith to Petrocelli to Scott. Double play. Fine play by Smith. 4-6-3X, runner erased. And with 2 out and nobody on, Brooks Robinson will be the hitter. Robinson walked and was hit by a pitch. He's been on both times today. Oh yeah, absolutely. Huge play for Boston there. Buys Stevenson another batter as he's set to pitch to Brooks Robinson. And here's the windup and the pitch on a 4-4 righty. Catcher's card X. That should be playable. That's going to be Ryan, a 2E3. On a 20, foul out to the catcher. That'll do it for the Birds in the 5th. We've played 5 here in Baltimore, and it is 3-0 Orioles. Just a tick over 8,400 in the house. It was a Tuesday, May the 17th. Both starters passed their first fatigue inning at this point. Bertena will face the top of the order here in the 6th. And here comes Rico Petrocelli. 0 for 1 with a walk. Bertena gets the sign. Here's the pitch. That's a 4-8 right-handed, and he walks him. A leadoff walk to Petrocelli. That is now the 4th walk issued by Bertena. So far, it hasn't hurt him. But you can't keep issuing free passes and not expect it to bite you at some point. Foy 0 for 1 with a walk will be the next batter. Activity in the Baltimore pen. It's Gene Brabender throwing down there, joined by Eddie Watt. Here's Foy now. Bertena from the stretch. That's going to be a 2-9 left-handed. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. So 1 down, and Carl Yastrzemski will come to bat. George Scott on deck. Yaz 1 for 2 in this one. Left on left. Bertena out of the stretch. That's going to be 4-7 left-handed. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Holy cow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 7 strikeouts now for Bertena. So Bertena, who came into this game with terrible numbers, is pitching a gem here today. There's 2 out now, and George Scott the hitter. Bertena gets the sign from the stretch. The pitch to Scott is a 4-5 righty, fly ball into left. That's a can of corn for Bleffery. And the Sox are retired in the 6th. No runs, no hits, they leave 1. And Bertena, a 1-hitter going. Yes, sir. He's put up goose eggs for 6. Exactly, Gerald. Yeah, I'll be, I'll be in my mid-70s when we start that replay. Okay, Jerry Stevenson entering his 2nd endurance inning. He'll be facing Bleffery, Powell, and Johnson. Left-hander Dennis Bennett has joined Bucky Brandon in the Boston pen. Bleffery 0 for 2 today. Stevenson into the windup. Here's the pitch on a 1-8 right-handed, and he walks him. A leadoff walk to Bleffery. Let's see now. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's his 5th walk, plus he hit a batter. And here comes Billy Herman. Mike Ryan's going out there too. And they're going to make the move right here with Boog Powell at the plate. They're going to bring in the left-hander, Dennis Bennett. So Stevenson 5+. Didn't pitch that bad. That's about what you expect from a 5-inning pitcher. He only allowed 2 hits. Walks were his enemy. 5 walks and he hit a batter. He struck out 2. So a quick hook for Jerry Stevenson today. And here comes the lefty, Dennis Bennett. Bennett's appeared in 7 games. He's 2-0 despite a very high 8.49 ERA in 12 innings of work. Brought on here to get Powell. Powell 0 for 1 with the walk in this one. Bennett's ready to go now. Left on left. He's set from the stretch. The pitch to Boog is a 2-6 left-handed, and he loses him ball 4. Back-to-back walks to open up the bottom of the 6th. And here's Davey Johnson now. Davey 0 for 2. Bennett checks the runners. Here's the pitch to Johnson. That's going to be a 3-6 left-handed. A single to 9 on a 19. That's a soft liner right into the glove of Smith. Throws to Scott. Powell back to the bag easily. Powell's not drifting far away anyway. And here's Echeverria with 1 down. Wow, Frank, is that a fact? You're talking this season, right? Real life. 20 in a row? Holy crap, I did not know that. Of course, I've been visiting for the past week and haven't really been following too closely. Okay, first and second, 1 down. Here's Andy Echeverria. Welcome OG Racing. Who has the record? That's a good question. I can't answer it. Record of 21. Bennett from the stretch. Pitch to Echeverria. That's going to be a 3-4 left-handed. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. So Bertana getting serious here with 2 runners on. And now he'll face Bertana, left on left. Here's Bennett's pitch. On a 1-9, he struck him out, and Bennett wiggles out of it. No runs, no hits, 2 left on. 6 innings in the books, and it's 3-0 Orioles. I think you're right, Kenyon. I do remember it was a team at the beginning of the season. I didn't remember it was the Orioles. But yes, thank you for jogging my addled memory there. Wow, I got to wrap my head around that one. That's kind of difficult to believe. I guess all teams have their down years though, right? Okay, here's Bertana now. He's entering his 3rd endurance inning, having allowed only 1 hit in this one. Tony Conigliaro will start it off for the Red Sox. He's 0 for 2 today. Bertana gets the sign from Echeverria. That's going to be a 3-8 left-handed, and he draws the leadoff walk. A lot of walks in this one. That is the 5th walk issued by Bertana. Braybender is sat down. Watt still tossing. Here's Thomas, 0 for 1 with a walk. Bertina gets the sign from the stretch. The pitch to George Thomas is a 1-4 left-handed. It's a ground ball wide of second. Johnson smothers it. His only play to Powell. And Canigliaro will take second. Here's Ryan now, 0 for 2 on the day. Bertina a glance at the runner. Now set, here's the pitch. That's going to be a 4-6 righty, and he walks him ball 4. And now one more hitter walk will fatigue Bertina. Watt is ready down there. 3-0 tying run at the plate. That's going to be George Smith. And I'll tell you, if it wasn't for the one hitter, I'd pull him right now. But he's been so unhittable today, we're going to let him pitch to Smith. George 0 for 2 in this one, 2 away. No, 1 down, excuse me, only 1 away. And I've got a dice down on the ground somewhere. There it is. He fouls one back. Bertina rubbing up a new ball, checks the runners. And from the stretch, here's his next pitch to Smith. It's a 4-9 fly ball into center field. That's playable for Snyder. He'll take it. 2 away, and now we will have a pinch hitter for Bennett. We can close the book on Stevenson. Bennett in his inning, no hits, a walk, and 2 Ks. Let's see if it's still going to be Bucky Brandon. It is. Runners at first and second, 2 away. And now they're going to play their card, Bob Tillman. So strategically, that worked out kind of the way I hoped it would. I didn't use Tillman here. And now he comes up instead of 2 outs and nobody on with 2 outs and 2 on. Tillman, the only significant right-handed batter on the Red Sox bench, also their second catcher. He is 16 for 51 on the season. That's a .314 average. No homers, but 7 RBIs. One more hitter walk will fatigue Bertina. And here's the pitch to Tillman. On a 1-7 left-handed, it's a grounder to short. Aparicio will go the short way to Johnson, and that will do it. So 2 walks in the inning, stranded. No runs, no hits, 2 left on. And the Sox waste a huge opportunity here in the 7th. And Bertina with a 1-hitter still intact. And thank you, Kenyon, for the stats on Bertina. New pitcher for the Sox, Bucky Brandon coming on now. Brandon's worked in 11 games. He's 0-2 with a 6.91 ERA in 14 innings. Top of the order due for Baltimore. Russ Snyder will start it off. He's 0 for 3 today. Brandon gets the sign. Here's the pitch. That's going to be a 5-6 left-handed. It's a fly ball to right field. That's playable for Canigliaro. Backs up a bit and hauls it in. Boy, I'd like to give him as much as I can, Frank. He's got a one-hitter going. Here's Aparicio. He's 2 for 3 today. Singled in the first, hit his first home run of the season in the third. Reached on an error in the fifth. Brandon, set now. Here's the pitch to release. It's a 6-4 righty. Grounder to third base X. Foy will be tested again. A 4E25, and here's the play. On a 19, he makes the play and throws him out. So Foy, a nice job down there today. 5-3X. 2 down quickly, and Frank Robinson will be the hitter. Robbie 0 for 1, he walked twice. Brandon gets the sign. Brandon certainly well overdue for a better outing. The pitch to Big Frank, a 1-2. It's a base hit up the middle. So Frank with a 2-out single, he has his first hit of the day. Brandon a much better hold than Stevenson, +1. Robinson's a 14, not starred, and he will not be held with 2 down, and Brooks Robinson at the plate. They'll let Robinson hit away. He's 0 for 1 today. Hit by a pitch in the first, walked back in the third. Brandon now checks the runner. The pitch to Brooks on a 3-11 right-handed is a pretty hard hit ball to deep left field. Yastrzemski on the track to haul it in. And that'll do it for Baltimore in the 7th. No runs, a hit, 1 left on. 7 in the books. It is 3-0 Orioles. And going to the 8th, Snyder will come out of the game. And Paul Blair will take over in center. E5 -1. Blair came into this game in real life in a similar situation. And here's Frank Bertena. 7 one-hit innings under his belt here as he gets ready to work the 8th. Top of the order for Boston. That would have made more sense. Greeting and hi, Joel. That would have made more sense. Only downside of that is Bleffery's due to lead off the 8th. Still, that is exactly what I should have done. But much like the first inning, I'm not going to back it up now. It stands. And here's Petrocelli. He's walked twice today, 0 for 1. Bertena gets the sign. Here's the pitch to Rico, 1-5 left-handed. He struck him out. Number 8 for Bertena. And what a ball game for Frank Bertena. Here's Foy now, 0 for 2 with a walk. Bertena studying the sign. Comes in there with a 3-5 lefty. It's a lazy fly ball into left field. Bleffery barely has to move and puts it away for the 2nd out. Two down, and here's Yaz. Yaz singled in the first, then struck out in the third, struck out in the 6th. Bertena staring in. Here's the windup and the pitch to Yaz, left on left. 4-11 is the grounder to first base X. That's going to be Powell. Boog, a 3E17 as he ranges to his right. On a 20, he's got it. Shovels to Bertena, covering, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Bertena, who now finds himself 3 outs away from a 1-hit shutout. Oh my goodness, how about that? Who would have thunk? I tell you, that's what makes this such a great game. Bottom of the 8th, Bucky Brandon will come out for his second inning of work. It'll be Bluffery, Powell, and Davy Johnson due for the Orioles. I want to see if they have another outfielder. They could still make a defensive switch. They could bring in Sam Bowens to play left after Bluffery hits. So here's Bluffery, 0 for 2 with a walk. Brandon gets the sign now from Ryan. There's the pitch to Bluffery on a 5-6 lefty. It's a fly to right field, fairly deep. Tony Conigliaro backing up now, just shy of the track, makes the catch. And the batter will be Boog Powell. Powell's walked twice today, 0 for 1. Here's the pitch from Bucky Brandon. 3-7, that's a double to 8, and that's going to be down and roll to the wall. Powell chugging around first. He's into second with a double. So Powell with a one-out double, his first hit of the afternoon, and here's Davy Johnson. Davy 0 for 3 in this one. Bucky Brandon, a glance at Powell. Doesn't seem all that concerned with Powell at second as he goes into the full windup, and the pitch to Davy Johnson is a 6-7 right-handed, and he loses in ball 4. Johnson down to first on the walk. Baltimore threatening in the bottom of the 8th. They lead at 3-0. First and second, 1 out, and here's Andy Etchebarren. Andy 0 for 3 in this one. Brandon checks the runners. Now from the stretch, the pitch to Andy, a 2-11 right-hander. That's a grounder down to third. Foy on it quickly. To Smith for 1. Nice turn to Scott. Double play. So Brandon gets the ground ball double play. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left for the Birds. And all eyes now are on Frank Bertena. Sam Bowens will take over in left for Bluffery. (2E14 -1). Good range, good solid arm, especially for left, but rather high on the error rating. Baltimore, though, with a tremendous defensive team. The only one shortstop in the whole set, which is, frankly, pretty rare. So here we go, 3-0, top of the 9th. Bertena, having allowed only 1 hit all day. It was a 1-out single way back in the first inning. He shut him down since, although he has walked his share. George Scott will lead it off for Boston. Scott 0 for 3 in this one. Bertena studying the signs. Now the windup. The pitch to Scott is going to be a 2-3 left-hander. That's a grounder down to first base. Powell will take it himself. That's 1. Team Ribby leader Tony Conigliaro will be next. 0 for 2 with a walk today. Bertena, a deep breath now into the windup. The pitch to Tony. That's a 4-3 right-handed. Base hit into right field. Conigliaro just inside out at it. And a soft liner drops in front of Robinson in right. One on, 1 out, and George Thomas due up. Thomas is 0 for 2 today with a walk. Bertena checks the runner now from the stretch. Meanwhile, closer Stu Miller throwing down in the Orioles pen. Bertana studying the signs. Now from the stretch, the pitch to Thomas, a 4-7 right-handed, and he walks him. That's going to bring the tying run to the plate, and that's going to bring Bauer to the mound. Now that's going to do it for Bertana. That's a shame, but I think it's got to be done. Bertana, a huge round of applause from the crowd as he comes out of the game. 8 1/3 innings, he only allowed 2 hits today. But walks were his downfall, even here in the ninth. A total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 walks. And he struck out 8. He is not allowed to run, but the 2 runners on are his responsibility as Stu Miller jogs in from the bullpen. The real-life save leader with 18. Let's see what he's done in our replay. Miller's been in 7 games. He's 1-0 with 4 saves and a 2.61 ERA across 10 1/3 innings. So Miller's been the stopper all season so far for the Birds. Mike Ryan will be the hitter. A light hitting catcher, but he has to hit. We've already used their other catcher, Tillman, as a pinch hitter. George Smith on deck. Stu Miller makes his last warm-up toss, and we're ready to get back to the action here. First and second, 1 away. Orioles lead it 3-0. Miller from the stretch. Here's his pitch to Mike Ryan on a 6-6 grounder down to third. It's Brooks Robinson to Johnson for 1 to Powell. Not in time. Ryan legs it out. It's a 5-4 force. Thomas erased. Canigliaro takes third, but there are 2 down now. And here's George Smith. Smith, the tying run at the plate. 2 down in the ninth. Miller trying to preserve it for Frank Bertana. Smith standing in from the right side. Miller staring in now. Here's the pitch. It's a 4-10 right-handed. It's a shallow fly ball to left. Here comes Bowens, inserted into the game, still coming, and just does catch up with it, and that's the ball game. No runs a hit, they leave a pair. The shutout is intact, a combined shutout. 3-0 Orioles, the final. And I'll have the totals for you in just a moment. And I agree. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And Frank, I agree. Frank Bertana, your Chief Spokane Gary player of the game. He gets the win, of course. He's 2-1 now on the season. Miller picks up a save, his 5th. Stevenson takes the loss. He drops to 1-4. Bucky Brandon worked 2 nice innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, no strikeouts. And there's Franklin, just missed it out of... How are things down there, Franklin? And I'm sorry if I keep asking this, but where exactly are you again? This came up, of course, in a conversation yesterday with my cousin who's from Sarasota here visiting. He was getting storm warnings on his phone. Tornado warnings, to be more specific, which I had to ask him about that one. The Orioles in the victory. 3 runs on just 4 hits. no errors. Red Sox, no runs, 2 hits, and an error. Frank Bertana, the player of the game. Home run by Aparicio, his first. Is that right, Franklin? Tampa? You near Tampa? So Baltimore back on track here. They improved to 19-8. Boston drops to 13-16. Let's take a look ahead on our schedule and see when the next game is. Now, I don't know when the game's going to be played. I repeat myself, but I think it bears repeating that with company in town, I'm not really on my regular schedule here, so I will get in games as the time and the desire allow. If I have the opportunity, I'll get them in, more likely earlier in the day than the normal 1:30 time. Anyway, the next game is Washington at Cleveland. Diego Segui will pitch for the Senators, and American League strikeout leader Sam McDowell will take the mound for the Indians. So that should be fun. My cousin will be here another week. Then we get a break, and then my uncle and his wife come in on the 17th. So in other words, a big family visiting month here in Spokane, all happening at once. So I'm going to get out of here and get on with my day. Glad you guys enjoyed this game. And I'll let you know when we're going to roll them again. In the meantime, I want to wish everybody a great week and a very pleasant evening. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.